Hey everyone, this is Greg. I'm an education advocate for Mote, and I'm actually a former high school history teacher, so I'm really excited to share this idea of creating audio timelines with Mote in two different environments, and I have two templates mocked up for you. One is going to be in Google Sheets, and the other one will be in Google Slides. So I'm going to explain and kind of walk through the template, get you up and running in both environments so you can start creating audio timelines with Mote as well. So let's get right into the Google Sheet version first. So you can see here, I've kind of mocked up this Google Sheet environment where we have this kind of like light gray, which is the timeline across the bottom. And notice that I even have some text where the students could drop in the time span of each block so they can create their kind of custom timeline experience. Now down below, we have kind of like our key as well as templates that we can use for each event to keep adding to the timeline. So notice students can decide what one block equals in terms of a time frame. You can clue them into that as well. I also have two different types of blocks. We have the purple block, which would be Mote audio that's embedded, but we also have a blue block, which could be a link to a sticky Mote if there's web-based content that a student wants to talk about. So let's jump right into it. So if we had the year here, and we'll put the year 2021 in the event. I'll kind of rename this. I'll call this Audio Timelines with Mote. So that's the event that we have. Now I want to record my voice to explain the significance of that event. We'll do that by tapping on the Mote extension in the top right corner of our Chrome browser and then just begin recording. So in early June of 2021, the idea was created to create audio timelines with Mote in Google Sheets. This is a really powerful way for students to show that they know and understand specific concepts. It removes a barrier of only being able to type text, and it lets students really express their thinking in super creative ways with audio. So we'll hit done, and now that Mote is available right here. We'll copy the link to that to our clipboard and head over to this event. So we could simply paste the link. What I'll do instead is I'll highlight and then insert the link into this little block and apply that. Now, notice when we hover, there's our embedded audio that we can play back right in our audio timeline. So in early June of so there's our first event. Now let's add a sticky Mote as well. Imagine a student in a history class was going to include the Boston Massacre as one of their events, but they wanted to point to this web content but also talk about it. So let's do that right now. I'll tap on the Mote extension and I'll begin recording. So here's an event on my timeline where I'd like to explain the significance of and the impact of the Boston Massacre in terms of a bigger understanding of the American Revolution. So the student is done. Now what we'll do is go down to My Activity and Engagement. That will bring us to our Mote page where we're logged in and we can see all of our activity. And notice right here, the site that I was just on, if we right-click on View Landing Page and copy the link address, now we have a link to our sticky Mote. What the sticky Mote will look like is this. It starts as a Mote page, we get redirected, and now here's my audio right on top of this Boston Massacre page. What I'm going to do is head back to the timeline, and notice I have blue for the hyperlink sticky Mote events, purple for the audio events. So let's add one in, and I know this is out of order. Please forgive me on that one. All right, so we have the Boston Massacre. I have that link copied, so what I'll do is insert that link into the text. And now that's a hyperlink. So if someone were to visit our Mote audio timeline and click on that link, it will redirect them to the web, to the Boston Massacre page where my audio is included. So let's go back to the timeline for a moment. What I've also done down below is added some templates so students don't even have to rebuild this. If I want another audio event on the top half of my timeline, I'll simply copy all of these blocks. I'm just clicking and dragging. I'm doing a copy function, Command C, and if I want it here, for example, I'll simply paste, and there's my event. I might want another one down here. I'll paste, and there's my event on the timeline. So I have the events for above and events for below just to keep it nice and organized. So there's audio timelines in Google Sheets. Let's now take a look at audio timelines in Google Slides. I have a number of approaches there as well. So you can see we have two versions. One is a more kind of open version, and then one is a little more condensed if we have a longer time frame to cover. And the setup is really similar. We have the events down below that we can copy and paste into our timeline. So if I need an audio event, I'm simply going to copy and paste and then drag this and drop it anywhere in the timeline where I like that has the corresponding year. I'll do the same thing with this event. We'll grab a copy and paste. We'll drop that in here, and maybe I have a sticky mote that I'm going to add below. We'll drop that here, and then one more event that's going to go above. Copy, paste, we'll drop that here. Now what students could always do is delete all of these little kind of templates or placeholders as they start building. And then the process is very similar. However, in Google Slides, instead of using the Chrome extension in our browser, we're going to use the Mote icon directly in Google Slides. We'll hit record and begin capturing our voice. Here's the first event on my timeline. This is early June of 2021, and audio timelines have been invented. So we'll wait for that to process and then tap insert. Mote will create that audio file and drop on that purple audio icon. I'll simply resize this slightly and then drop this right here into my event. We could also add a name in that block if we wanted to. So we have two approaches, one in Google Sheets, and you could absolutely take this, assign it through Google Classroom, make a copy of the template for every student to have their own copy, or the beauty of this in a Google environment, students can absolutely collaborate as well, or you could do the same thing here. We have two versions in Google Slides. Pick the one that's a good fit for your time frame, assign that in Google Classroom, and make a copy for every student. So the history and social studies teacher in me is thrilled to be able to share audio timelines with Mote in Google Slides and Google Sheets. I hope it's a helpful addition to your classroom experience for your students. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications, and we'll be back with more videos and creative ways on how to use Mote in your classroom.